This is the Betty and Delilah show. A show about nothing. Nothing but love.
Happy high on a hilltop. No chance of them low down lonesome blues.
Well, howdy everyone. Welcome to the Betty and Delilah show. Exciting, it is our first episode. Episode number 1 is a quick introduction about the Riverview Tavern. It's a tavern that Betty's family operated. And also a story about the crack. Plus, some good old country grassroots music by Gary J. and the Fire. Thus, the title for episode number 1 is The Riverview and Crack. Now remember, this is a family show, so crack might not be what you are thinking. Delilah was not available for this first episode, so I'm going to give Betty a quick tinkle. But before we get into the show, I wanted to show some highlights from Gary J's trip to Haysi, Virginia. His brother-in-law David Kaiser invited Gary to meet and visit with his family.
This little country bar, in a hole in the wall called Shoney's Truck Stop Diner. We played working man's blues and he stopped loving her today. And looking at this world through a windshield.
You can see some pics of where the Riverview Tavern was located.
Our throats were sore, so we asked for some water. Then Jimmy jumps up and says, "Hey boys, I got you covered." And he grabbed 2 Dixie cups and headed towards the door. He grabbed 2 little Dixie cups. Yeah, 2 little Dixie cups. He grabbed 2 little Dixie cups.
You can also see in the pics and video how the area is beautiful, but also economically depressed, since coal production here is mostly gone. As Goober mentioned at their party, the best and biggest resource is the people here. Very resourceful folks. You don't see any gigantic mansions, where most folks around here are happy with basic things in life, most taking pride in their house, and everyone knows their neighbor.
He brought 2 little Dixie cups to me and my brother Chris.
Where can you go, and in 10 minutes, get 20 folks together for a fun, nice party? Can you imagine years ago, traveling around on all of these hard-top roads when they were dirt or gravel in Dickinson County?
You know, fire flowed like lava down to my gut. And after that, I don't remember things too clearly. But I knew.
Check it out, here they are way up on top of the Appalachians, where the goats play, Backbone Ridge Studio. It's beautiful up there.
Drinking Jimmy's Shine from 2 little Dixie cups. We drank 2 little Dixie cups. Yeah, 2 little Dixie cups. We drank 2 little Dixie cups of Jimmy's moonshine. We drank 2 little Dixie cups. Yeah, 2 little Dixie cups. We drank 2 little Dixie cups of Jimmy's moonshine. We drank 2 little Dixie cups.
Hi, how are you doing?
Okay, how are you, Betty?
I'd be better if I hadn't fooled around and hurt my knee.
Oh no.
Just doing good, but
What were you doing?
I got a little piece of new furniture in here and had got it on sale, and Delilah said, "Now, Mother, do I need to come up and vacuum ring?" No. It's actually feeling better and everything. It had been almost 4 weeks, and I wasn't hurting that much, just off and on, you know.
I see.
And I did. I vacuumed a little bit, and then I scrubbed a few little places with a little brush on the carpet where the kids spilled stuff. And then I went, I said to Delilah, "Let's go shopping for a while." I stayed in there too long and tranked around, and by the time I left, I'd had it, and I've had it ever since, hurting. So
You should have got one of those extended warranties.
I know, I'm telling you, I told Delilah, I said, it's not extreme pain, but it's just a different pain, and it's just getting on my nerves.
Okay, hope you get to feeling better soon.
Yeah.
I heard about the Riverview Tavern. Gary and David told me they took a trip down there. So, how long was the Riverview in operation? When was that?
It was in operation for, well, let's see, it was in operation from the time, I think, me and my twin brother we were about 5, I think, when we went up there. That would have been, it would have been about 1950, 51. It was a booming little place for a while. It was 8 to 10 years more in that neighborhood, yeah.
Your mom and dad, Esther and Emery Counts, owned it, right?
Esther and Emery,
And then, it was you kids, 4, busy bees. Betty, Bob, Bill, and Beulah.
And Beulah. Beulah was the oldest. Her and Mother, they were the ones that done the cooking and all that when they started out, and they were the ones that started with it. And Daddy had to go to work on another job to help pay where he was in debt for the business, remodeling and everything, because it was an old garage when they started out.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it started out like a garage. They even had an old grease pit like people used to have many, many years ago that you just drive up on, and Daddy, I remember them saying that they had to fill up that grease pit, with dirt and stuff and all that before they could, fix the building and everything. So then we lived upstairs up over top of it. And so, yeah, it was some kind of life. It was a different life.
How many rooms were up top?
We had 3 bedrooms up there.
Okay.
And then a big old living room. But the kitchen was downstairs because our place we just had the one cooking place because Mother cooked down there for us and cooked for the business too,
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So it was, it wasn't a real big house, but we thought it was pretty good size, big enough for all of us.
Right.
And then the girls that worked for Mom and Dad, they stayed there too, so they would stay there all week. Nobody had, poor people at work like, if they didn't live close, they'd just spend the night there, with us. We slept in the same room as they did where I slept, So, yeah, it was what you call roughing it,
Hey, Gary and Dave told me a story from yours get-together down there. It was about Carol and the crack. I heard it was really funny.
I forgot now what he told. I can't remember. We had so much fun down there, and I didn't know that. I did not know that story till he told it that night.
Okay, we are going to have that as part of the first episode. Betty, talk to you later. Hope your knee gets healed up.
Yeah. Thanks for calling, sweetheart. Bye-bye.
Okay, here is the story about the crack. Some of the audio may be a little hard to hear because it was recorded during a crazy fun get-together, and it was a little rowdy, with a wee bit of some moonshining. Some good stuff, and goes down smooth. Anyways, we'll have some text on the screen to help support the audio. But before we share the story about the crack, here's a train song, or a story related to the American railways. My friend Tyler will give you an introduction to the song, a song that Gary J and the Fire usually perform as part of their History of Honky Tonk show.
Here's a story about man versus machine during construction of the American railways. John Henry, Steel Driving Man, is a folk song about an African American. He is said to have worked as a steel driving man and hammered a steel drill into rock. Well, that's how they made the holes for the explosives to blast rock constructing a railroad tunnel. According to legend, John Henry's prowess as a steel driver was measured in a race against a steam-powered rock drilling machine. John Henry won the race, only to die with a hammer in his hand. John Henry is a symbol of physical strength, endurance, of exploited labor, of the dignity of a human being against the degradations of the machine age, and of racial pride and solidarity. Hey, all you moms out there, pay attention to the verse about Polly, the wife of John Henry. She had to take care of their kids, their house, and take care of her sick man. But Lordy, She drove the steel like a man. I think that might have made her tougher than John Henry, right? Alright, here's the country grassroots version, similar to Doc Watson's, by Gary J. and the Fire.
Well, John Henry was a little bitty boy, no bigger than the palm of your hand. His mama looked down at John Henry and said, well, Johnny gonna be a steel driving man. Johnny gonna be a steel driving man. Now that man that invented that old steam drill, he thought it mighty fine. John Henry covered down 15 feet, that steam drill on an 89. That steam drill on an 89. Oh, baby. John Henry hammered in that mountainside till his hammer caught fire. Last word that poor John Henry said, give me a cool drink, water before I die. Give me a cool drink, water before I die. With John Henry's captain, he sat down on the rock. Son, I think this tunnel's caving in. John Henry smiled at his captain and said, boss, that's my hammer sucking wind. Boss, that's my hammer sucking wind. It's still on. John Henry had a sweet little woman. Her name was Polly Ann. Johnny got sick and he had to go. Polly drove that steel like a man. Yeah, Polly drove that steel like a man. Well, they took John Henry to the graveyard, put him 6 feet under the sand. Every time that freight train come rolling by, yonder lies that steel driving man. Yonder lies that steel driving man.
Hey, by the way, we are looking for sponsors for the Betty and Delilah show. Contact the producer of the show, Gary. Look for the contact page at his website, garyjhoffman.com. Or, can you give a donation to help keep the show going? At the same website, garyjhoffman.com, you can look for a donate link. Every wee bit helps, so thanks very much. Recorded at the Backbone Ridge Studio. Finally, here is The Crack.
I had moved back down here from Michigan, and I didn't have much of a way. The job I got when I first hired in didn't pay very much money. Well, I'd been up there in the automobile factory, and I'd making a good living, you know. Well, Emery and Betty and them, Mom and Dad had just moved back down here into the Riverview Tavern down there. And Emery knew that I had done carpentry work up there and stuff, you know. And he wanted to know if I would come down there and cut some vents out for him. I told him, yeah, I would. Well, I went upstairs and crawled back in this little old cubby hole place. It was, the way the roof was made, there wasn't very much room to get back in there. So I had my chainsaw up there and I'm sawing away, and all at once the black smoke started rolling. Man, I feel myself in Wonderland. Yeah. I thought, man, I got to do something. I took that chainsaw and I salvaged it all the way through, and I stuck my nose right up.
You cut a hole through the Riverview Tavern.
Now wait a minute, did you have your nose in that crack?
I'd have died if I hadn't.
Now, did you really have your nose in there?
I told you the truth.
Ruthie had his nose in that crack.
Ain't you never had your nose in a crack?
Corey said crack kills.
You hear what I said, Goob? Hey, Goob. Did you hear what I said?
What?
I said, ain't you never had your nose in a crack?
Oh, yeah.
That's funny.
Well, hang on. We're not done yet. We have another funny story in Kids Corner. I will let my niece Victoria introduce you to this part of the show.
Thanks, Aunt BB. I'm excited about this part of the show, Kids Corner. This part is for us, and we can talk about trains, tractors, trucks, toys, or we might just have a kid's story to share. Meet Huntu, the barefoot, on the rocks, country boy. Check out this episode. Is it a chicken? Is it a turkey? Is it Superman? Or just what the heck is it?
Ouch, I gotta go through the gravel. I am not like Huntu.
Watch out, there's cat poop right there.
I don't see it. Where?
It's right over there.
Oh, gross. Thanks for warning me.
Step in it.
All right.
Oh, step in chicken.
Oh, no, it's not. It's a vulture. And he's got something.
It's a bone.
Yeah, he got a bone.
It's a bone
Deer
from a
bone.
deer.
Yep.
Yeah, that deer over there.
Look, it won't even run from us. It'll probably try to take you into the sky and feed it to its little ones. You better watch out. Look, it doesn't even fly yet. It's gonna defend us. Defend against it.
Uh-oh, it's moving. It's
Go,
moving.
go, go, go. Be careful, don't let it get you.
Okay, I'm gonna, hold on to you.
Okay, hold on to my hand. We don't want that thing to get you.
Yeah, we do.
Feed you to the little ones.
It's not even running.
I can't believe it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, it's about to go anywhere.
What are you doing? Go. There it goes.
I never saw a barcher like that.
Wow, that thing was bold.
Thanks for joining us on our very first episode of The Betty and Delilah Show. This is your Aunt BB, from the heart of the moon, sending lots of love, warm hugs, and happiness. You kiddies out there, sleep tight. Here's a nice song to help you get all warm and comfy for bedtime, well if it's your bedtime. Goodbye.